everybody, Martina here, and I'm here with my friend Rachel today.
Hi.
From RachelandJun. So as you guys know, we've been living in Korea for about 7 years now, and Rachel's been living in Japan for a year, but you've been going back and forth there for what, like
5 years?
5 years or so. So when we go to Japan to visit her, we experience a lot of cultural differences. And then when Rachel comes to Korea, she's like, whoa, what's happening here? So today we're gonna talk about some of the culture shocks we experienced when visiting the opposite countries. There's a lot of really like high-pitched voices in Japan. So like if we go to Starbucks and they say like good morning to us, it's not like Ohayo gozaimasu, it's like hi, Ohayo gozaimasu. Really high and cute. I'm like, whoa, like how are you doing that? In Korea there isn't any like voice change. We have like egyo, like when you're trying to be cute and you're like, oppa, like 왜 그래? But it's mostly like kind of like a flirty thing.
Right.
It's not flirty in Japan, right?
No. I do know some people who genuinely have higher pitched voices. But Japanese as a language is spoken like higher in your throat, so it's more natural to come out like very high pitched. I do it automatically. Like so many of my female friends do it without even realizing.
When you
we
switch
speak
over,
Japanese.
gotcha.
Yeah, I've recorded some things in Japanese on my channel, and then I've listened to it later, and I've been like, what?
You're like, is that
what
me?
am I doing?
Yeah.
And then I have to like force myself to speak really low.
No, but you know what? That makes sense because like I'll notice that rather than saying to someone like arigato, I'll be like hi, like arigato gozaimasu. Like I'm already kind of changing my. It feels like that's what you should do. So, but it's still pretty. It's still pretty shocking to me because I really feel like I'm watching a cartoon.
I will tell you something else that really stood out to me in Korea. The streets that I've walked down, like all of the streets have their doors open and they're just like blaring K-pop music. Out onto the streets, you can hear it everywhere.
And you want to hear something funny? When we first arrived in Korea, every single shop, like not even like a clothing store, like every single store would blast music so obnoxiously that you like couldn't sleep at nighttime. And eventually they had to put a ban on like noise pollution.
Really?
And so when we were in Hongdae, like that sound of music is like way quieter than it used to be.
Oh my god.
So I'm like, oh, I can hear myself speaking now. But it's like still really loud, right? But I noticed in Japan, there's like 8-bit MIDI music being like, I go grocery shopping, it sounds like an elevator music, like it's like doom doo doo. It's
the weirdest thing. First year I was in Japan, I was like, wow, this is so unique. But now actually I want to hear real music. I'm like tired of it sounds like 80s cell phone like ringtones. Yeah. Or 80s, 90s cell phones ringtones.
Maybe 80s, they're like 80s called and said that it doesn't have a cell phone yet.
So every time I'm out now, it's so noticeable, and just every 5 minutes I'm like, I know this song. What song is this? And then I have to pause for 30 seconds until I can remember.
Figure out the song?
Jun, who is this? And he's like, this is AKB48. I'm like, all right!
Ah, so then you don't mind the noisiness in Korea then, like for the restaurants and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's loud and everywhere, but I like having words and like real instruments.
Gotcha. Okay, I'll tell you a culture shock I didn't expect to have. Korea is a very loud place and it is very 24/7. Seoul is a city that never sleeps. I've gotten so used to hearing noise all the time and constantly that when Simon and I come to Japan and we're walking down the street, it's like maybe 8 p.m. on a Thursday, we're going grocery shopping. It is so pin drop quiet, and I actually got like anxious. Something's gonna happen. There's like a zombie apocalypse. Like dun, 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 dun. Like I could hear the ringing in my ears.
People are just like really respectful of noises here, and like you don't want to be super loud and inconvenience other people. Like this is a problem that I still have without realizing it. I talk very loudly, especially in America. My family talks really loudly.
It's a foreign
like shouting
thing,
at each other
all
the time. And so like even now, after 5 years, sometimes we'll be in public and she's like, shh. I'm like, I didn't even notice.
Oh, we've been shushed on the subway and buses. Like, I think we've gotten better since being in Korea for like 7 years, but like when we first came, 100% we got shushed. Shh, and then Simon and I are like, I didn't even notice.
I know.
Foreign struggles.
So one thing that I noticed when I've been to Korea, the temples that I've seen in Korea are very brightly colored, like super bright paint.
Like that aqua.
Right. But generally a lot of the temples and shrines that I've seen here in Japan are just kind of like their natural wood color. Very like naturey, and like it feels more like, you know, it's set into nature. It feels like a little more mystical to me.
I'm not really into colorful things, so I'm not really into the neon colored temples of Korea.
For the first time here in Japan, just yesterday, visiting Kyoto, so the temples there, they were very like a bright red, but there was a little bit of like green like lining to it.
Korean taxis are super affordable. It's very expensive in Japan, and it looks that way. So like when you approach a taxi driver, they have like suits on, and like some of them have little white gloves. The doors open like magic.
Don't touch the doors.
You don't touch the doors, guys. I'm talking like the door just swings open like magic. And Simon and I can't break that habit. So in Korea, you have to open the door to get in, like other parts of the world, I guess. Here it's like you go to touch it and you see them inside being like, and then the door just swings open and you're like, and you get in and it closes automatically. However, what I will say is, Rachel, I have a concern.
Yes.
Oh, your taxi drivers are dying. They're like 90. They're adorable. They're so cute looking and they're very polite, quiet, but they look like they're dying. Like we had a guy that we handed the phone to and he pulled out an actual magnifying glass and then switched on a light on the bottom that could shine on our phone. Are you sure you should be driving? And then another guy tried to help us with our luggage and Simon's like, no, please no. And the guy's like, but I never feel like I'm in danger in a Japanese taxi and I never feel like I'm gonna throw up. Have you taken taxis in Korea?
Yeah, I've taken taxis, and one of my friends in Korea has told me something that seems to be true. You have taxis in Korea where the taxi driver's really nice and talkative and they just talk to you the whole time. And then you have taxi drivers in Korea who are really angry that they're driving you somewhere.
I mouthed the word, I literally mouthed the word angry because I was gonna say.
They're like, they seem inconvenienced that you're paying them to drive you somewhere and they drive, like they're gonna crash. I was really afraid that I was going to throw up and he was angry at us because he stopped a block earlier than we asked him to and we were like, can you just, where the next block? And he was like, I'll just stop here. And we were like, you can drive us more. I was like, no.
This is far enough.
I was like, why is it a problem to drive us? We're gonna pay you more. You'll get more money.
This is such a common problem. That's why I can't say that I hate Korean taxis because I'm split between the two. You definitely have the ones that are super happy. They want to hear where you're from. They want to practice English. They're like really excited that you're in Korea. For those of you that visit Korea, you might have the really nice, awesome drivers and you might have the angry ones, but try not to let them taint your experience of Korea. Have you guys ever traveled to two different countries and experienced like a culture shock when you thought that they would be the same? I feel like we could have the same thing about America and Canada.
Yeah.
We're like so close by each other.
Right.
But if I travel to America, I experience culture shock immediately. Like Fahrenheit.
Oh yeah.
What is that, guys? Oh, I know something that happened to Simon and I in Japan. We were in Tokyo and we went to like a Maid Cafe and something really crazy happened, but I'm gonna talk about that on your channel actually.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I think if you guys click over here or somewhere here, it's going to take you over to Rachel's channel and we're going to continue our discussion. We have at least 3 more points that we want to talk about in comparison, and make sure you subscribe to Rachel and Jun.
Thank you.
You have excellent adventures in Japan. Yeah, so let's head over to your channel now. Taking my imaginary stairs.
Well, I went out the window this way, so.